Welcome to Turn Into Podcast. I'm Gina Baruch. Join me in my journey and discover how women's stories are woven into our lives, reflecting the beautiful tapestry of human experience. Thank you for tuning into Turn Into. Today, we're diving into a truly transformative chapter of my life. A story that began in 2019 with a simple trip home, but quickly moved to another direction. My plan was straightforward. A quick week-long visit with my mom in Veracruz, my birthplace, before heading off to the beautiful Riviera Maya. For those of you who know Veracruz, you know it's a place where the morning sun feels like a joyful celebration, where music and vibrant colors are woven into the very fabric of daily life, or where mysticism isn't just a concept, it's a lived experience. It's a town where we remember to sing good morning to the first person we meet. My only purpose was a short visit, but as you will hear, the universe had very different plans for me. I was enjoying my days in Jaltipan, eating all the delicious tamales, black beans, and fried bananas, soaking up my mom's company, reconnecting with childhood friends. One week turned into several. Then I remember a gift my sister Dahlia had given me, a stunning handmade bag crafted with the ancient technique of backstrap weaving. It was made by an indigenous woman named Juliana, who lived not far from my town. And in that moment, an epiphany struck. What if I tried to learn this technique while I was still here? In my blissful ignorance, I had no idea what I was truly embarking on. I visited Juliana, proposed her to be my teacher, and to my delight, she accepted, handing me a list of tools and strings. I was hooked from the very first class. I wanted to keep going, but I knew this would take more than a few weeks. While I loved staying with my mom, we both needed our own space. That's when my sister Dahlia, bless her heart, offered me my dad's house she had inherited after he and his wife passed away. As the black sheep of the family, I had been left out of the will, but that's a story for another time. I gratefully accepted the offer and moved in. It was this abundant white house surrounded by spacious decks in the suburbs of my little town, with a huge yard boasting all sorts of fruit trees and nature to admire. The house was so far away from the street and the neighbors that there was a profound silence there, the perfect heaven to stay. One day, I was cooking and having this intense internal conversation with myself. Is weaving truly my path? Should I continue? How am I supposed to afford to live without a job? How will I make a living from weaving? I took my plate to the back of the house to have breakfast there. As soon as I stepped outside, a congregation of toucans arrived in the yard. They were sitting at the top of the trees, croaking all at the same time. My eyes couldn't believe it. I grew up in that town, and in all my life, despite our variety of birds, I have never seen a single toucan. And now, I was in the presence of 50, 80, I don't know, it was hard to count. It was absolutely beautiful. I felt an undeniable certainty, a feeling of trust that something beyond me will hold me. It's hard to explain, but I knew the universe had answered my question. I was in the right place at the right moment, so I continued my classes. Every day at 2 p.m., I had to travel to another town for my classes under the scorching Veracruz sun. If you have ever been there at that hour, you know I truly wanted to learn backstrap weaving. Juliana was methodical, strict, and incredibly meticulous about setting up a weaving. She taught me to do things properly, professionally. I'm still grateful for that. While her heart was well intended, her precarious Spanish and my endless curiosity utterly frustrated her. Beyond my slow mental process, my lack of dexterity, and my infinite questions. But why this way and not that way? Is it possible to make this? What if I try this instead of that? I was feeling kind of stuck. So one day, I dared to ask about an advanced technique, and she replied, "Don't worry about that. You will never be able to learn it." Sad and frustrated, I came back home. But my principles couldn't allow me to quit. As Carol Dweck mentioned in her book, Growth Mindset, people with a growth mindset believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just the starting point. So I quitted my classes with Juliana and committed to continue learning by myself. Every morning after breakfast, I tie myself to my weaving and try to figure it out. Meanwhile, I was struggling with insomnia and my senses. I had stopped meditating for a while because I was afraid of the voices I was hearing. So I came back to A Course of Miracles. I had bumped into this technique in my 20s, but I wasn't ready for it then. For those who don't know about this technique, imagine your brain as a computer with an automatic program running from the moment you wake up until you go to bed, often without you even realizing it. This software is a set of beliefs we have collected from our family, school, books, TV, community, society in general, and everything we have encountered, even the beliefs we have rejected. This new programming in the course is based on 3 pillars. First, relax. Don't take life so serious. This world is just an illusion. Second, forgive, because actually nothing really happened. And the last one, you are loved. You don't need to walk a dark, difficult path on your knees to find it. It is already here, available to all of us. The course uses some biblical terms, but don't let these words intimidate you. They are simply symbols, meant to convey a deeper message. If you approach the material with an open-minded, you will get the true meaning. And remember, this course is not the absolutely truth. It's only one more of many valuable resources out there. Back to my weaving struggles. I made countless mistakes, wasted tons of threads, and dropped a lot of frustration tears through my learning process. But I didn't quit. I continue. And you might be thinking, Gina, you have been talking for over 10 minutes and I still don't have any idea what backstrap weaving is. So here's a little explanation. Backstrap weaving is an ancient technique where one end of the warp, the long vertical threads, is secured to the weaver, and the other end is attached to a heavy object such as a tree, or a post. In the middle, two additional sticks and a baton or sword made of wood are strategically placed. These tools allow the weaver to separate and manipulate the warp threads to create the textile. Ethnologists believe that the backstrap loom's appearance coincided when human beings stopped hunting mammoths to settle in one place and plant their own food. While there's no concrete evidence pinpointing its exact origin, historical research suggests it emerged during the Bronze Age, while Egyptians were creating linen and the Chinese were producing silk. Who owns the credits of the invention? Nobody knows. They also believe its use spread from South Asia to the Pacific Ocean and eventually to South and Central America. Weaving and nature share an intrinsic, unbreakable bond. One simply couldn't thrive without the other. Nature provides essential resources from the wood used to craft tools to the flowers, fruits, and leaves that dye fabrics. The specific materials depend entirely on the weaving's region and personal preferences. Beyond raw materials, nature is a wellspring of creative inspiration, influencing both its style and symbolism in woven designs. Indigenous groups, for example, often depict the local flora and fauna that surround them, while other communities might draw inspiration from different natural elements. While weavers can practice their craft almost anywhere, a profound connection with nature is forged when weaving is physically tied to a tree. This act fosters a deeper conversation with the natural world and the universe beyond. There are also mystical meanings woven into the art of weaving. In some indigenous cultures, weavers believe that any weaving is alive. Before starting to create one, they ask for a blessing. If your energy is present and aligned with the intention, the weaving process will flow smoothly. If not, your weaving will probably become a nightmare. And if you dare to abandon your project in a dusty corner, the eyes of your weaving will chase you, a silent, persistent gaze, until you return to finish what you started. One of my favorite parts of weaving is setting up the warp-up. This is prepared by wrapping thread around a warping frame and then transfer to the loom. This frame allows you to create a figure of an 8 or a cross with the strings, similar to the infinite symbol. This repetition brings so much calm and peace that it becomes addictive. Now that I remember, one of my art pieces, The Magician, was inspired by this meditation in movement. In contrast to other textile techniques like embroidery, stitching, or knitting, backstrap weaving involves both masculine and feminine energy. It can be smooth and gentle, as well as agile and potent, like the movement of a jaguar hunting. You may use so much force in your arms that you won't miss the weights at the gym. And make sure you have tied your loom securely to that tree, or you may see your weaving take flight. Besides, every time a weaver lifts the heddle rod with her left hand and opens the warp, she opens her arm as much as possible, releasing energy, opening her heart. This movement reminds me of the warrior position in yoga, where the heart chakra expands every time we raise our arm to the sky. By practicing backstrap weaving, you will repeat this movement hundreds of times. Don't be surprised if one day your heart opens so wide that tears stream from your eyes. The months passed, and a deep relationship between the loom and me was born. And slowly, without any expectation or anticipation, love emerged again. And it was thanks to the purity of his love that I was able to heal and reconcile with myself. Weaving freed me from many ties to the past, and in turn, it has given me the gift of creating and giving life to dreams that could otherwise have remained only in my imagination. But not everything was beautiful flowers and sunny mornings. Jaltipan wasn't the safe, innocent little town I had grown up in. Foreign investment arrived to exploit our petrol. Ironically, unemployment soared. The rise of more accessible and affordable Chinese clothing led to a significant shift. It outcompeted traditional woven garments. Consequently, women stopped weaving, while families migrated to border states to set up Chinese electrodomestics or follow the American dream. Drug trafficking increased, and with it, insecurity. Shootings in downtown in the middle of the day, unknown bodies found in plastic bags. The morning topics in the market. That Susanita's son has already been shot. Yes, poor kid, he was barely 19. Don't tell anyone. The Ming Tong said it was a reckoning, that he was a chamula. A what? Shh, don't talk too loud. Chamulas. The guys who pick it up and deliver the white powder, so other people whiten their nose. Other people said he spent the mafia's money on horse. Who knows? And that was the situation in Jaltipan, and the same story in the whole Latin America. My mom, my neighbors, including anyone who knew I was a single woman living alone, were terrified for me. They would plead, "Gina, please, don't tell people you live alone." If my internal chaos wasn't enough, now I had to deal with this too. I came back home reflecting, what should I do? I had this feeling that I still had something else to learn here. But at the same time, my safety was questionable. Should I leave the town or continue weaving? In our next episode, we will discover Gina's decision and meet new characters who further shifted the course of her journey. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to support the work I'm doing, please consider checking out my Patreon. You can find the link in the show notes. Your gratitude and support help me create more content you love. You can also follow me at Instagram at Gina Baruch Art. See you next week, and remember, you were born to shine.